If your windows are all fogged up, you might have condensation on the walls of your van. It's closed cell foam off the internet, sound deadening insulation. Who cares how clean and nice it looks when it's gonna be covered up on the wall?
It's 420 somewhere.
Always with these gardeners. I got a rattle in here and I want to take care of it. What I really want to take care of though is the insulation. I got an air conditioner in it. I still haven't insulated these walls. This is what it's gonna be. It's closed cell foam, 1/4 inch. You can get it an 1/8 inch, get a 1/16 inch. I took care of that rattle in the door. If this shit wasn't so expensive, I would line the inside of the door on both sides, as much of this in there as I could. Hit me up in the DMs. There's like some rattling in this partition. Pull all the foam out, put glue everywhere, make that thing as solid as I can. I do not want to hear any like subfloor 400. It reduces squeaks in the floor. Hopefully it reduces squeaks in my partition. Some diggable planets came on. The thing started rattling again, like really bad. God, it just... One thing about working on the van, if you're gonna get creative with different ideas and solutions, be prepared for them to not work. And be prepared for your 4th, 5th, 6th like reiterations or like little fixes that you're doing. None of that's gonna work either. It might work, sometimes it works. And I just wanna, I said this in a different video, but this is the key. When you're using this foam, it's the cheapest, best stuff. Hear how loud that is? I'm just lightly brushing the edges. It makes so much noise. It's like, don't put the edge up against anything. Not happy today. Do I want to do layers underneath this and then put this over it? Do I want to put this up against the metal? I want to put it up against the metal. A lot of people, what they do, they cut out sections of insulation and they put them in these areas. But I don't want to do that. This thing works so much better if it's just all one piece together and you don't have it like cut. And if you do cut it, that's okay. You want to make sure you overlap it by several inches. So then that means you're using that much more material. This stuff is 60 bucks a roll now. I bought it for $43 a roll. I'm just gonna try and shape it to the walls of the van. Of course, it would look really clean and nice if I were to cut it and put it into all the spaces, but then it isn't gonna work as good. Who cares how clean and nice it looks when it's gonna be covered up on the wall and you're not gonna see it? I want this to be effective as possible. Oh, it's Jared Tachi! I had dinner. It's gotten a little dark out. I'm gonna try and get this up. I got all the doors closed because mosquitoes have been eating me alive. Deep wood's dry. Off. Really close. Like, get it on there. Get a coating on there. If you just do a mist, it doesn't do it. You gotta like see it on your skin. I'd rather not be bit. I could do a strip down there, a strip down here, and then I'll have full coverage. I could also do it this way. Because everywhere I put it, I have to overlap it. How am I going to get the most efficient use of this stuff? Sound deadener, I got like a bunch of sheets. I have so much sound deadener left. I can use as much as I can. I'm really discouraged. I'm happy with what I'm doing. I'm happy with my choices. Do all this like stuff that's never been done before. It's been tough. Took this thing off of the back. I also removed the plastic piece below it. I can hear it like rattling against the metal. I'm trying to remove things that could just end up creating rattles. This has got to go. I got this little piece of sound deadener. It worked. I can definitely put some right here. I'm just gonna go for it. I've been waiting a long time to do this because I just can't work it out in my mind. Really high quality aluminum one side, sticky on the other. Closed cell, neoprene foam, sound deadening, insulation. You feel like you're in a spaceship yet? It's been reading 120 plus because the sun in the afternoon hits this side. It works a lot better than I thought it was going to. If I really needed to, I could pull it off. Big temperature difference between this and this. Because it's reflective, I can't really get a good reading on it. This feels like 80 degrees or something, and this feels like 60 degrees. See if everything stayed up. Yeah. I was really worried that this stuff was just gonna fall. The glue was really sticky, but it happened. See, it's like, it's coming down in some spots, but overall, it stayed. I really thought that these were gonna reach from top to bottom. That didn't happen. It definitely seems to be working. Without this here, it would be hot. It's really not that hot. Where's the sun? Oh, it's straight up above. What the hell, Dave? Like, nobody does it like this. What are you thinking? Try to explain myself a little bit better. Metal is a really great conductor of heat and cold. Instead of doing what you see a lot of people do where they fill in the spaces with insulation and then they have the metal exposed, closed cell foam has sound deadening properties as well. Oh my gosh, these gardeners every time. I wanted to take advantage of the sound deadening properties by getting all this foam close to the metal. It's like made it so much quieter. This is only 1/8 of an inch. Let's say I want to do a bed. Here to here is more than 6 foot. 79 inches, which is 6'7". Who knows? We're gonna find out if this works out or not. I can't wait till I go to the ski resort and see if I end up getting condensation in the spaces where I leave it thin. There's a lot of things that need to be tested out, but that's why we're doing a YouTube channel. We could try out some new things and let people know if it worked or not. I feel like the echo's been reduced some. Even though this foam is the cheapest, best insulation out there, it makes so much noise that I'm thinking about just going Havelock wool. All this insulation on the walls costs $240. A bag of Havelock wool is also another $240. This is not a cheap route to go. When you think of the overall cost investment on the van, 500 bucks for insulation is not too bad. I wish I could afford thicker neoprene. If I could put like 1/2-inch neoprene everywhere, I would. If I were to just do all the flat areas and leave these ridges exposed, the heat is gonna come through. These exposed ridges could get 120 degrees. Might as well just cover it all. None of that can come through. I'm getting about 87 degrees on the insulation, where there's no insulation on that bulkhead. I'm getting 103 degrees. So this stuff is working. Let's say I do need to access any of this in the future. After I cut this, I'll overlap it about 1 foot wide over the areas that I cut. It'll be even more effective at that point. And every morning I wake up to this condensation. It doesn't happen where it's not cold. A lot like how the inside of the van wall is going to be. How can I prevent that? If that kept forming and forming and forming, dripping down into there, that's your van wall forming in there and it's staying in there. You're going to get mold. Stop what's happening on that fridge in the van wall. Moisture barriers for their walls and their insulation. Well, same thing with this. Putting this into a box that's sealed and then you just open it to get in there. Another thing you can do, closed cell foam or spray foam. My fridge is my freezer. I found some gray closed cell foam. I'm gonna put the link in the description to this stuff. This freezer is a couple $100 bucks. Neoprene has so many uses. Bottom of drawers to keep them like stuff from making noise. Stick on a vapor barrier. Oxygen can't get here anymore. A complete vapor barrier. 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch. You are not gonna get condensation even on the 1/4 inch. This is 1/4 inch. Frost King insulation. That is also neoprene rubber. It's so thin and then it has that metal there. This is kind of like a koozie for a can. A condensation on the outside of the can. You slide on that beer koozie, there's no condensation forming. It's not going to be cheap. But I do believe that the best thing that you can do, because this is also sound deadening, after you get your Dynamat or whatever sound deadener, Dynamat is so far superior. It's lighter. It makes it quieter. And then you put a layer of some sort of foam rubber, which Dynamat does make a product, but it is also expensive. But it doesn't matter where you get it. This was the cheapest I could find. I would rather get a bunch of this than a bunch of Frost King. Foam insulation that you see on all of my walls that's reflective, I got that from Walmart. Spending $200+ on foam rubber seems kind of crazy. You could just do a vapor barrier with Reflectix. There's like so many different ways. Not do a vapor barrier and just put up the wool. The best way is the spray foam. Turning your van into a Coleman cooler. More insulation than a refrigerated van. Spray foam on the wall also creates a vapor barrier, just like when you stick this foam. Cost of this foam. Cost of spray foam. Spray foam is the way to go. To each their own. Keeps collecting and then it starts dripping down the side walls. Even when I'm breathing out over here, that steam is gonna come and eventually form onto here. Understanding how the moisture gets to the surfaces, the cold surfaces inside the van. Your windows are all fogged up. You might have condensation on the walls of your van. Unless you got foam stuck all on it. You'll never see moisture collect on this surface again. Let's see if the foam worked. One of those rug mats. No moisture. Look. Oh, and I didn't even realize that usually the end of my pillow is wet that I take off. They're not wet. It did get cold. Not nearly as cold as a spot without the foam.